Hello, founders. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the one question that an investor is thinking, but very few investors seem to talk about. And that is, why me? But it's a paradox. If you stick to the end of this video, I'm going to explain the reason it's a paradox and how to answer this question properly so you can land that first check or that second check or fill your round, whatever round you are trying to raise investment for, you are going to be successful. Before we continue, my name is Ed Kang. I'm a 7-time funded founder with 2 exits. That just means I failed a bunch of times. I like to use social media and videos like this to try and help founders raise that funding and avoid some of the mistakes that I have made. Not to say you're not going to make mistakes, but hopefully you'll lessen the mistakes and you'll learn from the mistakes I've made, and you will have a better experience fundraising. I've raised over 9 figures of investment for my startups and other startups in the form of 4-figure checks, 5, 6-figure checks, you name it. And there's lots of advice out there that's going to tell you all about the questions the investor is going to be asking you. Questions such as, what's the problem and how unique is your solution? How big is the market? But the question that a lot of founders do not answer, that the investor is thinking, is why me? The paradox comes in when the founder is trying to explain to the investor why me, when the investor is thinking, why me? And nobody gets their question answered because that is the number one question the investor is thinking. And often the investor doesn't even realize it, but it's a pattern. It's a psychological pattern that I've seen. And like I said, I often wonder why more people aren't talking about it. The more you can answer for the investor why you, in other words, you're answering the investor's question in their mind, why me, the faster you can get to a yes or no or some type of referral. And let me explain to you how this works. Here's how you approach the question that the investor is asking, why me? First and foremost, you are going to do your research. It is absolutely critical. You have to be targeting your investor outreach, and that means copious amounts of research, especially if you're dealing with angel investors. It makes sense for an Andreessen Horowitz, an A16Z, to just simply go, okay, everybody just apply through one big funnel. But there are so many other angel investors out there, friends, family, and associates, individuals who are maybe running a fund or they're a limited partner in a fund that can recommend you to that fund. All investors come in different shapes and sizes. Therefore, you have to do your research. And thankfully, you can do a lot of research out there with sources such as Crunchbase, PitchBook. You can check on LinkedIn. You're going to do as much research as possible. And you are going to break down your research and prepare to tell the investor why you, in other words, answer why me for the investor in these 4 manners. Now, I can't stress enough that I understand the psychology, the mindset that you're going to be in. You are going in and telling the investor why me, why you as the founder deserve the investment. But in this case, I want you to step away from that and make this about the investor and not you. Believe me, it will help you make your pitch go so much smoother. The first section you are going to research and prepare to answer is what? That is the value that you think the investor is going to bring beyond their money. It's way more important that you acknowledge the investor for what they strategically bring to the table beyond money in the form of, let's say, social capital, intellectual capital, even emotional capital. If you are good friends with the investor, you want to tell them this is more than just about money. I believe you are the right investor for us because of the value that you can bring, and present that forward. The next section that you are going to research is when. Historically, when have they represented that value? By going into that investor's history, not only are you demonstrating to them that you can do your homework, that you care enough to find out more about them, but you'll have details and facts and evidence saying, I think you represent this value to our company beyond money, and here's why. Here's when you've done that in the past. Maybe it's in a previous investment. Maybe it's been their past work experience. Maybe it's been other founders that they have connected with. Whatever their activities, you're going through their LinkedIn and go through the entire bio and work history and say, I think you are valuable because you did this at this time, that time, etc. By the way, these questions are designed with brain science to help you really make that bond, that connection with the investor. If you present the answers to these questions in this particular order, it's going to go so much smoother. Here we go. What's next? How did they do their value back in the past but differently. It's so important to explain how they're different. Let me take you back for a moment. If you are in a relationship and you want to pay someone a compliment, the more detail you add to that compliment, the better. Instead of just saying, I think you look great today, you can say, I think you've got great fashion sense. I remember the outfit that you wore to church the other day, and I totally dug it. And it just seems you have this way of making ordinary clothes seem special because of the way you put them together, that you accessorize, all that good stuff. How much better of a compliment is that? In the same way, not that you're stroking the ego of the investor, although egos do come into play, we want to acknowledge that, but you are providing evidence and you are differentiating them and acknowledging how they might be a little contrarian in their investment, might be doing things with a unique methodology or a framework or thought leadership. That's how they are different. You want to research, analyze, and go, I think that you bring this value to our startup. And here's when you've done it in the past. That is the evidence. But you also do it in a very particular way that we recognize that presents even more value should you come aboard. And finally, you want to bring up who. Who also could benefit. And when I say who, I don't mean, oh, and you know all these other investors. You happen to know Elon Musk, or you happen to know this investor at this capital fund and the people that I really want to talk to. You're not going to do that. You may acknowledge that they're connected with the investment community, but you want to position it in a way that they think, if I introduce you, the founder, to one of my colleagues, they will benefit, but I will also benefit. My value is going to go into my network. Or it might be other advisors or special contacts, different people, former staff that might be able to come on board that they could recruit. But you want to position it in an investor-centric way, not about you, it's about the investor. How they would look really good if they went into their network and brought the same benefits that they were experiencing and shared it with other people. Because investors are all part of a small community. They may seem all over the place, but believe me, they learn about each other, they network with each other. Just the other day, I was talking with someone who was raising a fund who had an incredible experience in different areas that I was not familiar with, and she said, I'd really love to stay in touch. How about we co-invest or look at co-investing, joint investing in some ventures together? I thought this is fantastic because she wants to build a relationship with me and vice versa. You have to understand that's how it works. We always want to send deals to other people, even if we're not investing in them, because we are as good as our last referral, and we don't want to be left out of the party either. Many investors will tell you that they will look through your pitch deck even if they've immediately made the decision that they are not interested, that is not for them. They will still look through the pitch deck and decide, maybe I should send this to one of my colleagues who is interested in the same space, the same problem, or who has not seen this type of solution, just to say, we're all in this community together. We all benefit. A rising tide raises all ships. Therefore, you want to explain to the investor, this is who I think you could also benefit and who also should be involved. There you have it. I'm going to keep it short today. Please do the social media thing if you value this content. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you're part of stars.com or any other community that we are helping to accelerate and I'm an advisor, or you're with me on social media, thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you in the next video.